Hejsa. It's a bit of a blustery day here in England. Cloudy, and it's been raining on and off all day. So I thought I would chat to you while I'm working on this little project that I've started. So I've got a mug of hot cocoa here. Not coffee, not tea, because I don't like either. Which makes people in Denmark who really like their coffee think I'm weird, and people in England who really like their tea, they also think I'm a little bit weird. I'm okay with that. So I hope I'll remember to drink it while it's still hot. So this project then is for a birthday bunting. And the reason I'm making this birthday bunting is that this summer my husband and I are going on holiday with my parents and my sister and her family. And we're all going to an island in Denmark. And this is actually the first time that we've all been on a proper holiday together. So, as you may know, I am Danish, but I have lived in the UK since 2005. And my sister, who actually met her now husband the same year that I met my husband, in 2005 she moved to California. So it's not often that we see each other. And even rarer that we go on holiday together. In fact, we've never done that. At least not all of us. My husband and I have been on holiday with my parents. But since we got our dog in early 2015, yes, that's when we had him, it's been more awkward for us to go anywhere because we haven't got anyone who are willing or able to look after him for an extended period. But this year we're going, and Blake, our dog, he will be going hopefully to some very nice people for his own holiday. We have had him stay with strangers before. The first time was a great success. The second time, well, we're not so happy about how the people listen to us about his little quirks. Yeah, but anyway, it was fine. Hopefully these new people are a better fit. It's actually a little bit distracting to be cutting this and talking at the same time. So I hope I didn't mess this up. No, this is fine. So my sister's kids are, well, they will be 10 years old later this year. So they arrived just before we got our dog, and obviously for the first few years it was a bit of a handful for my sister and her husband to travel with the kids all that way. They're twins, so it's quite a big job. But now, of course, they're older, so it's easier for them to travel. So this summer will actually only be the 4th time that I see my niece and nephew. And for my husband, it will only be the 2nd time that he sees them. I do wish that we lived closer to them, so that we could have a proper auntie and uncle relationship with them. It's a bit difficult when it's all via internet, but at least we do have that. I remember when I was little, my uncle lived in Greenland for many years, and back then, of course, well, I think they could call him my grandparents, but apart from that, it was letters, which could take ages, because a lot of the times the mail would go by ship. And I actually remember one time that my grandparents were preparing what to me seemed like a very large parcel of what I can imagine were Danish goodies that they were sending to my uncle in Greenland. And sometimes my parents send us Danish goodies, but at least it doesn't take quite as long as it used to send stuff to my uncle in Greenland. I don't know if you can see that these orange dots, that they're actually a neon orange, which is kind of a crazy color. It's here as well, but it's fine. There'll be some stitching added around it, so I'm trying not to get my letters muddled up. Well, I'm done with that one. So as you can probably imagine, we don't often get to celebrate birthdays together with especially my sister and her family, or Christmas, or anything else for that matter. Actually, I can't remember when I last spent Christmas or any birthday with my sister, apart from a couple of years ago when we were all in Denmark for my parents' 50th birthdays, which were in the same year, so that's handy. But apart from that, And the last time that we spent Christmas with my parents and they came here to England, I think that was in 2016. Obviously they tried to sort of alternate between England and America for Christmas, and some years staying home. And then of course there was the small matter of the pandemic that put all travel plans on hold for a good couple of years or 3. And the last couple of years, my parents have been in the US for Christmas, which I think is great because then they can be with my niece and nephew for Christmas while they're still little. And I think my niece was very disappointed when last year my parents had decided that they weren't going to the US for Christmas, because you always come here for Christmas. So who knows if they'll be going there for Christmas this year. They keep saying no, but I'm not so sure. I quite like this fabric with the small dots. It's quite a big contrast to the green, but I guess that's fine. Right, so now I have finished the first word. Do you want to see what happy birthday looks like in Danish? There you go. Tillykke med fødselsdagen. So it's more congratulations than happy. Congratulations with your birthday. In Danish we have extra letters like ø, e, ø, and o. So if you ever go to Denmark, you will see these letters on street signs and shop fronts and all over the place, obviously. Anyway, back to the bunting. Oh, I think I should have cut this a bit bigger. I think I'll put that aside for now and cut a bigger background. So this bunting is secret because it is my plan that when we're all on this holiday in the summer, that we are going to have a combined birthday party, birthday celebration for all of us. So my plan is that my sister and her family will go somewhere for the day, or at least most of the day, with my parents. So my sister will be in on the plan, but not the others. Or maybe my brother-in-law will be as well. Anyway, the important thing is that my parents and my niece and nephew don't know anything about it. So while they are all out, my husband and I can bake some cakes and prepare some other food and hang up this bunting, so that when they all come back to the place where we'll be staying, we will have this surprise for them, which I hope they will enjoy. I think that would be lots of fun. I like making surprises for people. The kind of surprises that they will enjoy, obviously. So this is another neon color. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not 100% sure that it works with the background. What do you think? Once the stitching is added on, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm not working terribly quickly on this bunting here, or at least cutting out the letters. But it's fine. I'm not in a rush right now. We're not going on our family holiday until July. Although we're into April now, so it will be here before we know it. And I also need to finish the scrappy quilt I'm making as a present for my parents. Because this year is their 50th wedding anniversary. And what better gift to give someone who have everything they could possibly want or need than a quilt. Quilts are the best presents, I think. Although no one's ever given me a quilt. I just make them for other people. So I hope that they agree that they're the best present, or one of the best presents. I certainly enjoy making them. So the island that we're going on holiday on, or in, is it holiday in an island or on an island? Anyway, it's called Bornholm, and it is a Danish island but it's actually closer to Sweden than to Denmark. In the olden days, the bottom part of Sweden actually used to be Danish. So I guess Denmark was just able to hang on to the island. Oh, I really like this combination here. This sort of salmony pink with the lime green. And Bornholm is called Solskinsøen, the Sunshine Island, because apparently it gets more sunshine than the rest of Denmark. I don't know if that's true or not, but certainly I've been to Bornholm twice before, and I do remember the trips as very sunny. It's very common for school children to go there on a school trip. And we did when I think I was in the 7th grade when we went there on a school trip. But I had been there before the school trip. We went there when I think I was around 10 years old. Me and my parents and my sister and my maternal grandparents. So we all went there, I guess, for a week. And sadly, I don't remember that much from that trip. Which is a shame, because it must have been one of the last trips with my maternal grandmother. She died either that year or the year after. But it's nice that we're all gonna go to Bornholm. And especially so that my niece and nephew can see more of Denmark. Because obviously most of the time when they visit Denmark, they're in sort of the area where my parents live. But Bornholm is about as far away from where my parents live as you can get in Denmark. Oh, I should have got this one bigger as well. That'll have to be put aside as well. I'm really looking forward to going to Bornholm. I'm looking forward to seeing it again, because to be honest, I don't really remember much from any of the trips where I've been there before. I don't know if you can hear some snoring in the background. Blake is right next to me, having a little nap. You must be able to hear Blake's snoring. I think he's not 100% happy with me today because this morning I gave him a bath and he doesn't really like having a bath. Well, this is also a very nice combination. I feel like I'm losing track of what I need to be doing. Maybe I should have made a checklist of the letters. So I'm going to machine applique the letters to each of these patches. And then I'm going to make some binding to sew to the top. And I think that I will cut a piece of fabric more for each of them because it's very sort of floppy. And I think just sew it together around the edges and maybe use some pinking shears just to make it look a bit more fun. Oh, here's that neon yellow again. It really is a very bright. It's a good thing that it's just little dots and it's not the whole thing that's this color. Although I think I've actually got some fabric in that color. It's not the kind of fabric that you can do much embroidery on because you can't sit and look at it. It just burns off your retina if you do. So right now Blake is in his bed and he's digging in it, trying to make a nest. And obviously he has a quilt in his bed. Because when you live with a human who's a quilt maker, that sort of is what tends to happen. Everyone gets a quilt. Oh, let's see if this is still drinkable. It's just about okay. So as you can imagine, I'm really looking forward to this holiday with my family. It would be nice if we could see them more often. And I suppose we will be able to eventually. But I'm not gonna say that out loud while Blake is right next to me. So I really hope that we can really make a lot of memories on our holiday this summer. Something to think about when we're not able to see each other. And I guess I have a tendency to sort of wanting to really make the most of things like this, trips like this. And Tony, my husband, he said, "Oh, we don't have to be doing things all the time, every day. We can just hang out and go to the beach or whatever." And I guess he's right. Maybe there is something to be said for not planning everything to the last minute. But on the other hand, if no one plans anything, then maybe nothing fun happens. I don't know. Are you a planner or just play it by ear kind of person? I'm definitely a planner. If we're going anywhere, I'm gonna look up all the things and see where everything is and how to get there and all kinds of things. Right, I'm losing track again. Yes. I must have cut this too small. This S is not going to fit on there. I guess I have to put that aside as well. Or maybe I just swap them. No, because then that would be... There we go. Problem solved, I think. No, the D's not going to fit either. Alright. Not sure why I cut that so small. On Bornholm there is a castle, or rather there was. It is a ruin now, and I think it was, if not the largest, and one of the largest castles in Scandinavia. And the castle is called Bornholm Slot, which means Bornholm Castle. They don't get many points for the naming of the castle. But the castle is famous for being a place of imprisonment of a Danish, well, I'm not sure if you would call her a princess, because although she was a recognized daughter of a Danish king, her mother was not the Queen. But she was in prison there because her husband was a very powerful man in Denmark back in the day. This would have been in the 17th century. And when her father died, her brother became the new king. And he did not like her husband. And his wife, the new queen, did not like this not princess. Her name was Leonora Christine. Well, all kinds of things happened. And Leonora Christine and her husband, or at least her husband, sort of got in league with the Swedes, which obviously was not popular with her brother, the king. And then they ended up in Bornholm slot as prisoners, where they made a very daring escape on a, I'm sure, dark and stormy night by tying together ripped up sheets and climbing out the window. And right now I can't remember if they actually did manage to get away. They had someone waiting for them with a little rowboat, I think. But did they get away? I can't remember. Anyway, when I was younger, much younger, teenager, I was really fascinated by Leonora Christine. And after her husband died, she was put in prison in a tower in Copenhagen, where she was a prisoner for 22 years. And it was definitely not a life of luxury. But she was able to pass the time, and she made ink, I guess from oak galls maybe, and from ashes. And she made a small loom from a spoon or something. And that always fascinated me, how she was able to make stuff, although she was pretty much denied everything. And the servant women who were assigned to her, some of them were cruel and were spying on her. But in the end, her brother and her evil sister-in-law died, and her nephew became king, and then she was released. And I can't remember how many years she lived after that. But she wrote a memoir about her time as a prisoner, which is fascinating in itself, but also considering the time, not many women were writing memoirs. But I guess she was a very well-educated woman, very intelligent, and so I guess she thought that it wouldn't be the strangest thing if she wrote a memoir. So I don't know if I can ramble on much longer. I'm not sure how I ended up talking about a sort of Danish princess from the 17th century. I guess it's just sort of random things that pop into my head. If you go to Copenhagen, or maybe you've been there already, there are quite a lot of buildings in the center of Copenhagen that were built by Leonor Christina's father, King Christian IV. So among other things, the old stock exchange, which is right next to Christiansborg, which is the home of the Danish Parliament. And there's also Rosenborg Castle, which is very well known. And he also built Rundetårn, the round tower, which you can visit. To climb it, you walk up a ramp. There might be stairs right at the very end, but for most of the way, you walk up a ramp. And I think it was Peter the Great of Russia who came to visit Christian, and he either rode up on a horse or in a carriage or something. And they also had bike races in the round tower. I never used to be that crazy about Copenhagen because I'm from a different part of Denmark, and there's always been a bit sort of a rivalry between, well, Copenhagen and the rest of Denmark. Like Copenhageners think they're all that, when in actual fact a lot of people who live in Copenhagen have come from elsewhere in Denmark. But over the past few years, I've actually spent quite a bit of time in Copenhagen when I've been in Denmark. And I really got to enjoy being there. And it's a really beautiful city. It's a nice mix of old architecture and new. And there are also some really great museums in Copenhagen. But I suppose I can talk about that some other time. I'm not super loving this yellow background, but I think it actually works really well with this sort of orangey red. Alright. This is the last letter for now, because I need to cut some larger backgrounds for those other letters. And I guess it's a good thing, because I've been recording this for almost an hour. Just a whole hour of me chatting away. And if anyone who knows me in real life sees this, they will be quite astonished, I think. I'm not really a chatty person, but I thought it would be fun to just talk to you. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it made sense. And do let me know if you'd like to watch more chatty videos. Maybe not quite an hour long. And if you enjoyed this, please give the video a like. And of course subscribe if you want to make sure that you don't miss the next video, which may or may not be this chatty. I've just realized that I made this combination at least 3 times. It is a very nice combination, or at least I think so. Right, so I think that maybe I'll do another video where I show how I put the whole thing together. I'm not gonna finish it now anyway. I don't usually finish things straight away. Just work on it here and there. At least for a project like this, where I don't need to finish it until July, so in over 3 months. So anyway, I hope you have a great day and happy stitching.